Welcome to the Cobcast, where we uncover the truth, ignite your mindset, and explore the realms of health, wealth, and conscious living. Join me in exploring the hidden secrets of the world, unraveling the mysteries of cryptocurrency, and also cultivating a mindset for financial health. I'm your host, Chris O'Brien, reminding you that when in doubt, it's time to zoom out and see the bigger picture. So get ready for an uplifting experience to help you come out better. Cobcast episode 3. Welcome back, everybody. I pray that you're doing well. It's great that you're tuning in here. I know life, again, can sometimes get a little crazy. I just want to remind you here in this moment to drop your shoulders. That's better. Remember, take that deep breath. Perhaps exhale. Maybe you haven't even exhaled today. And just relax your jaw, right? Just relax your forehead and, just get out of the mind for a minute and just get in the body right now. Now, you may be driving in a car, so hands on the wheel. You may be chilling at home or cooking dinner or just on a walk or maybe just hanging out and relaxing. And wherever you are at, I just want to remind you that the present moment is always there for you. It's a place where we get clarity. It's a place where we get downloads and insights and a bunch of aha moments. And for some people, me included, it's a place where we have God talk to us, or we have the universe give us messages, and we have this inner voice that I think many of us can continue to get better at hearing and listening every single day. So with that said, this is episode 3 of the Cobcast, the podcast that will help you leave and come out better. And I'm grateful and continue to share my voice and my message for those that are curious, open-minded, and interesting on being a better version of themselves. So I was thinking about it and just thinking about and feeling what is it you love to hear today? What is it that could help somebody today? And I personally have been very, very committed to getting into the best shape and the best health of my life. Now, I'm going to be turning 35 years old in weeks. Next month, actually, about 1 month from the 22nd, May 22nd. I'm a Taurus Gemini cusp energy. I'm also a manifesting generator 3-5 in human design. We'll get to an episode of podcasts on human design because that's going to be a lot to dive into, and I'm excited for that in the future. Just for me, though, we have this very programmed belief that aging, sickness, disease, wrinkles, bad bod, I just had a baby, my body's not going to be the same. Hey, you can't stop time. It's just the way it is. I don't want to live to 100. I'm happy, YOLO. And if you really pay attention, that's just some of them. But you start to hear a lot of the language that people use in their life today. And I like to say this a lot, and you'll hear me continually saying this on this podcast, is life and death is in the now. Some people may agree or disagree with that. And I want to elaborate on that just for a moment before we get into some other health things. That the words you speak are so, so important. Not only the words that you speak, it's also the words line. Now, some people, they will agree to disagree that it's not even their voice that's talking, or it's not even their voice that's saying that they can't do something. And it's society's voice, or it's your parents' voice, or it's your teacher's voice, or your boss, or the social media influencer that you've given your power away to. And we've lost this ability for our selfish way in a very empowering way, a way that fills up our glass and pours into others, a way that really lights us up and reminds us what we're capable of. And we have this ability to speak life, give life. And I was on social media the other day, and I watched a video. I'm blanking on where I found it. And they said something that when you speak positive, that is creating a dopamine response in the body. And dopamine is a reward chemical, a feel-good hormone type chemical that actually feels as if you're completing something, accomplishing something. When we're dopamine deficient, we go scroll, we go to stimulants, we go to certain vices and addictions, and we burn ourselves out, we burn our dopamine out. And then when you speak negative, and we speak negative, we speak, and that creates cortisol in the body. Now, cortisol, many will say, and you probably have heard or can research yourself, that is a precursor of stress. That is a stress chemical. That is something that creates stress in the body. Now, there's times for it. Don't get me wrong. Like anything, moderation. Too much of one thing, good or bad, could have detrimental effects. And so when we have this cortisol release and too much thinking and talking in a negative manner, it starts to paint a picture as if it stemmed from the words that we speak. You think about that. What if a lot of our health issues today, from autoimmune, chronic disease, anxiety, mental health, hormonal imbalances, digestive problems, cancers, you name it. What if perhaps at the core of it, think about it, be a manifestation of too much oxidation, too much stress, too much inflammation, too much acid, low on energy, mineral deficiencies, emotional stuck trauma, emotional imbalances, a shot nervous system, dehydration at a cellular level. Yet if you put all that together, perhaps all of that has manifested in the words we continue to speak out loud or in our mind. And I want you to sit with that, because so many of us are walking around speaking death, and we are speaking what isn't. We are speaking, we're speaking in negative or in past tense, or we're using the infamous apostrophe T. I can't, I couldn't, I shouldn't. Nobody's going to listen. What's the point? It's not worth it. Keeps going and going and going. So my first reminder to you is just be aware of the words you speak. Be aware of the words you say. You can have the perfect diet. You can have an amazing workout routine. You can be hydrated. You can take all the supplements. You can be in nature. You can meditate. You can have emotional regulation. And for many of you, that's going to give you profound effects. Don't get me wrong. And if there are still things in your life that have not changed, and you're doing all the good things when it comes to your health, the very antidote, maybe the very medicine or poison, in fact, that you continue to repeat over and over, maybe the words that you speak out loud or in your mind. So just feel that for a moment. And maybe once you leave this podcast and you reflect on this, and just be aware. Don't change overnight. It's going to take time to readjust and reprogram this subconscious mind that continues to repeat these words. Yet when you ask me about someone's health, first thing I used to ask people is, what are you eating? Oh, it's got to be your diet. Oh, you're probably not exercising. You must not be getting good sleep. Now it's getting to a point where I'm asking people one of three things in a way. Do you know how to breathe? Do you know how to breathe properly? Are you breathing right now? Are you actually exhaling? Are you holding all that waste in? Are you hydrating? Like whether it's through your diet or through proper hydration. And the third thing is really, what words do you speak every day? Because we speak 10,000 plus or more. So think about it. You breathe over 25,000 times a day, hopefully, as long as you're not holding your breath. That's where a lot of stress does come in. You have 40,000, 50,000 thoughts that come and go so fast. And just in about 8 minutes listening here, you've already heard me speak a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand words. So in reality, could our reality, our perception, our beliefs, consciously and subconsciously and unconsciously, be a manifestation, an accumulation of the breaths we take, the thoughts that we have that come and go, and the words that we speak out loud or in our head? Because those three pillars are very, very, very ignored heavily when it comes to health and wellness overall. Because there's tons of podcasts about nutrition. There's tons of podcasts about hydration. There's tons of podcasts about supplementations. They're all to have its importance, especially hydration. You guys know me, or if you're still getting to know who I am and what I'm all about and the way I share, wait till we get to the water podcast section. It's going to be a lot of fun. You've got to remind yourself of the three things you do the most every single day. Many of you eat 3 times a day. Many of you drink maybe hopefully a gallon of water, probably not. And a lot of us only work out once a day, if that. 1 time, 3 times, 3 times, a couple glasses, a couple meditations. You're not even on a handful yet. Breath, thoughts, and words. You are in the 1,000 figures. It is absolutely mind-bending how often and how much we do those 3 things. And it's the 3 things that many of us aren't even aware of. So back to like what I was starting at the beginning of this conversation, when you're talking about health, perhaps you may need to start looking at it from a different perspective, a different reality, a different intention before you get into the diet changes or the supplementations or these, challenges, 75 hard or cold plunging, which again have their place and have their benefits. Just make sure you don't skip your foundation. Make sure you focus on the foundation, which is those three core pillars to getting a good foundation to build from. Because who knows, you maybe start breathing properly. Your mind starts to think less. Oh. And the words you speak and say start to get stronger, more positive, more present, more empowering, inspiring, and motivating and healing. That right there could change your blood pressure. That right there could help you lose a couple pounds. That right there, those three principles right there could perhaps change markers or indicators on your tests and lab results. That right there could change the way your blood circulates. That right there could change the way your kidneys filter. That right there can change the way you digest your food. That right there to change the way how much fat you lose and how much muscle you put on. That right improve your energy levels and also improve your sleep. And isn't that what we all truly want? Isn't that what we all truly desire? And why we do all the health things, why we listen to gurus and pay thousands of dollars to coaches, when in reality, God makes no mistakes in creating you and me. We already have it all right now. The heart, we have these that work together, the man brain and the God brain. We have the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus. We have our glands. We have our lymphatic system that cleans the systems for us. We have our lungs, our cardiovascular, which moves oxygen and fresh blood. We have our muscles that contract and create piezoelectricity. We have our tendons and our fascia that hold this whole architecture, this divine vessel, which is you and me together. We have eyes that can process our reality and actually see what's around us. We have nose that smells and interprets different smells and tastes. We have so many different mechanisms that God gave us that we've gone away so far from the foundation. We've gone away so far from the basic practices and principles of what it means to have true health, wellness, and vitality, to be truly present and to appreciate life at its core. We've made it a lot harder than it needs to be. I don't know if you feel that. And if you do, you're probably nodding your head right now, or you're smiling, or you're resonating, or you're like, yeah, that makes total sense. And those are those aha moments. So I wanted to start that and share that with you guys about health, because it is such a vague topic. It is such a vague conversation. Now, my intention is to continue to speak life to you and continue to give you a perspective you may forget to see or overlook. And with these perspectives, we do have to become aware of these challenges. We have to become aware of these problems. And this quote unquote, I'm going to whisper it so they don't hear me, this agenda to make us sick, this agenda to make us tired, this agenda, this system, the program, the matrix, as some people call it, the illusion to keep us out of our body, to keep us disconnected, to keep us unmotivated, to keep us lethargic, low energy, trouble sleeping, in pain, imbalanced, hormonal issues, mineral deficiencies, poor circulation, all sorts of health issues that arise, which then they label, call it something with a diagnosis, which then becomes a patent, which then allows them to profit from a business model. It's all business oriented. So we have to know this. And whether you're awake to this or not, you're waking up to this now, or you've been awake for a while, you all probably are starting to agree that something is just wrong in this world. Something just doesn't feel right. Something seems a bit off. Why do they push these mandates? Why did they keep us locked down? Why do they process our food and pollute our water? Why is it that they're putting 5G towers on schools and churches and near water towers like lines? Those aren't lines that I'm too familiar with, except when I was partying back in college. What are those? Why? What are pesticides? It's like these questions, right? It's like, what? Wait a minute, hold on. Unless we live off grid in a bubble, a lot of us are getting bombarded with crap 24/7. Even you listening to this right now, believe it or not, you're getting hit with non-native EMF from your phone, from your laptop, from your Bluetooth headphones, your Wi-Fi. We are so unaware of these things. Now, there's a balance here. Okay, let's pause for a minute. There's a balance here because it's very easy for a lot of us to get overwhelmed And now we start living in fear. And now we start having worry and doubt for things that really shouldn't create this type of worry and doubt. So there's a balance here. Because what happens is when you start waking up to how toxic this world has become, to how many man made products and plastic pollution pandemics and chemicals and unregistered health practices and government clarity that is not even provable and all sorts of very, very questionable things. When you start waking up to this, you start seeing it everywhere, like everywhere. You don't see soda anymore. You see a can of acid that can literally be used as a toilet cleaner. Right? You don't see fast food anymore. You see fake food that takes 10 years to dissolve. And then you wonder what food is still in you from the food you used to eat as a child. You don't really start to see plastic water bottles anymore. You actually see through the plastic and the clear liquid microparticles floating. You can actually you start feeling it and sensing it. And we've been so deceived, right? Through marketing, through propaganda, through the media, through programming, through commercials, through radio, through celebrities, endorsements. It's a battle for your attention. And your attention is to get you away from your intention. Because all of us, when we were born, our intention was to stay alive another day. We wanted to enjoy every moment. We wanted to stay as close to source as possible and stay grounded and tapped in, close to our family, close to our friends, and yet still open to new possibility and new things and finding that balance in between. So there are a lot of problems out there. And if you haven't woken up to them, if you've been living under a rock, or perhaps you keep looping and cycling certain patterns and programs and thoughts, or eating the same food, eating the same junk, polluting your body, toxifying your body, hey, it's your body, not mine. Because that's one of the biggest things that happened to me when I had a spiritual awakening. Even before that was a health scare. I had endured ulcerative colitis, acid reflux, eczema. I was 25 years old. I was a professional athlete most of my life. I mean, a basketball player my whole life. I was a professional athlete for a year playing professional basketball in Mexico. I was a college athlete at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, Division One, and it was an incredible experience. I put my body through the ringer. I've blown my ACL, rolled my ankle 20 times. I've had broken collarbones, torn labrums. I've had dislocated toes and fingers. I've had, what else? Concussions, torn MCL. I've had ankle sprains. I've had wrist sprains, busted toenails, black eyes, stitches. I've put my body through a lot. And most of those things are on the surface. Internally, though, my body was broken down. It was a mess. I had stomach issues. I had horrible allergies. I felt like every day was a different type of pain. Obviously, I put my body through a lot as an athlete, yet I just normalized it. It's just what it is. I'm supposed to feel tired. I'm supposed to feel drained. I'm supposed to be hungover. I'm supposed to be in pain. I'm supposed to have allergies. I'm supposed to have pain. I'm supposed to have medication. It's just what I'm supposed to do, right? Because everyone's doing it. And that's the trap. That is the trap that all comes back again to the words you speak and the thoughts you have. Even saying that out loud makes my body feel a certain way. It's like I backtrack and we can time track into times when we were in low points or back into when we were in pain, and we relive that pain and it recycles, and then we get addicted to the pain, and then we make it our reality today, and then we expect the future is going to be the same way, and therefore we start aging, and next thing you know, it's still only 18 minutes into a podcast that I'm sitting in my car, sitting on the couch or making dinner. And you see where the mind can go. And so I'm bringing you back here. You may have wandered off a few minutes ago, because I want to remind us all again that your attention, your awareness is so critical. Okay. The problems in the world that I was experiencing, the things that I was doing to myself unconsciously, they call it, this is a gentle way to say it, it's like indirect suicide. You ever heard of that term, indirect suicide? It's when you know something is bad for you, yet you still do it. Oh, that's a tough one. It's a tough one. You know that food, that drink, that substance, that image, that video, that website, that person, that environment, that event, that memory, that thought, You know those things are bad. You know they don't. You know they cause pain. You know they're going to feel good now and feel like crap later. You know what the end result's going to be because you've already lived it, yet we don't know that there's any other way else to live. And so we move towards it. We go to it. We want to feel it again. We become addicted to it. And this is the cycle and loop that has trapped people, where some people can't even break their whole life. Day in, day out, week after week, month after month, year after year, and nothing changes because we've become so addicted and so enamored and so attached to this negative, low vibrational feeling. You can even hear it in my voice. This, as if our soul is lost. We're disconnected from the mind and body. Our heart is closed. Our brain is lopsided. We're only on our left brain. We're disconnected from our connection to God and the universe. And it just feels heavy. It just feels heavy. And so what we can do for our health, what I started to do was I started to make small changes. I started to change the water I was drinking. I started to change the thoughts I was having. I started to, now, Grant, don't get me wrong, I was still making poor decisions. I wasn't perfect. Every time I made that decision, though, I became more aware of the effect. And until it got to a point where part of me was like, enough is enough. You guys listening, you ever had that breaking point where enough is enough? Maybe you're going through right now. Maybe you've had it in the past and it's been a while and you felt just bleh. I had this breaking point where it got to a certain situation in my life that if I don't change something, it's going to get worse. There's no way I'm feeling this way. I'm not even 30 years old and I feel like I'm 60, 70, 80 years old with poor health. And I just knew that wasn't a way to live. And I started to truly respect my body, respect my temple, respect my vessel, respect this avatar that God gave me that allowed my soul to integrate into, to express, live, be, create, respond, react, build, communicate, experience, question, feel, laugh, cry. It's like, my gosh, the human experience is truly incredible. Yet we put labels on it. We make it some type of story or some type of movie, and we actually are directing it and put us in poor positions and bad places to succeed. And we do this unconsciously. So this indirect suicide concept was a really aha moment for me when I realized that I had the power to change. I had the power to choose the food I was eating, the water I was drinking, the thoughts I was having, the habits I was taking, the choices I was making, the vices I was committing to, the addictions I was feeding. And again, it takes time to undo this. Because think of how many years we've built this up on ourselves, like an onion. Every time you pull a layer back, you might shed some tears, you might shed some feels, you might have a little breakdown, but I promise you, you're going to come out better. You're going to come out stronger and healthier. And so far as you notice, as we start wrapping up this podcast here today, this episode 3, which was health, we didn't talk too much about food. I didn't even mention the water I drink. I didn't even talk about a supplement. Did I ever mention a type of workout I recommend or that I do that I love? I didn't even mention meditation, sound healing, grounding, earthing, ice baths, hot saunas, cold therapy. You see, health, so much of it, like I mentioned, has a lot to do with the non-physical. It's the metaphysical. Our bodies just give us signs and clues. And if we're not paying attention, and if we're unconsciously going through life, and if we are indirectly causing suicide to ourselves, and our body's trying to get our attention with a shaking or an anxiety or a negative thought or a sneeze or something digestive or a pain, your body's just trying to say, hey, Chris, get back here. Come back in. You're everywhere else but here. You're everywhere else but this body right now. You're on the internet. You're in a different state. You're thinking of the past. You're 10 years ago. You're so far ahead. You're worrying about what's going to happen, yet you haven't even taken a breath again today. Before you associate or label or diagnose something within yourself, just ask yourself, am I in this body? Do I feel safe in this body? Do I feel comfortable in here? Do I feel like I'm at home? Do I feel protected or do I feel afraid? Do I feel ashamed? Do I feel in fear when I come back into myself? Because that right there, you guys, no medication may help you. No food, no broccoli is going to close that gap. No meditation or sound healing. Again, I love it all. You'll incorporate it as you go. You'll find your groove. You'll find what's going to work for you. It's just this ability to connect back into the body, back with the mind, back with the right brain, the left brain, the heart and the soul and your voice and everything else God created in you, the trillions of cells in you, the thousands of miles of blood vessels, the more dendrites and neurons in your brain than in the galaxy, the amount of minerals in your blood that mimics Mother Earth, right? The amount of tissues and the fascia and the interweb that holds your vessel together, that walks, carries your kids, picks up your groceries, bends down, sits down, sleeps, rolls over, laughs, cries. If the world outside of you feels mundane, slow, and boring, it has nothing to do with the outer world. It's the inner world. And that, my friends, is a great place to start when it comes to improving your health. And in this case, coming out healthier. I pray you guys got some value today. I pray some dots connected. I know some dots connected. Share this, like this, subscribe here. I always say, I'm probably going to say it every time. I've been wanting to say this for years. Share, comment, like, subscribe. Give me a follow at Come Out Better. At the end of the day, this is all for you. This is just a place where I can share what goes on in my mind, in my heart, and meet that halfway into my voice, speak that into this microphone and into your ears, where you take it into your mind. I know it'll reach your heart, and then you go out and speak it halfway through here, through your voice. God bless y'all. Love you. We'll see you on episode 4. Take care.